His reaction is very interesting, because before I got into this, my thought was, okay, he'd probably react by saying, no, I don't accept what you're saying, or, no, what you're saying is wrong, and this is my reading. I thought he would react like that. But then I started to engage with his own responses, and this is the first hand I could see his responses because he's written them in Farsi. And it's very interesting. So there's a book by Rasul Jafrian, famous historian. He's got email exchanges between him and Hossein Modarressi.
Okay.
So that book is published. It's just emails of Hossein Modarressi and Rasul Jafrian back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that when these responses started coming in, Rasul Jafrian wrote a letter to Hossein Modarressi and said that, look, your book is created like it's a wildfire over here. So many responses have been written.
Yeah.
And he gave them a website. He said, go to this website. There's a list of like 10 books that they've put over there. You can go and see the responses written. And interestingly, Modarressi was shocked. He was like, what? All these responses? He's like, I was not expecting this to happen. He's like, my purpose in writing this book was not because of what I believe. I don't believe in any of this, by the way. He doesn't believe in any of this.
So Modarressi doesn't believe in this?
No, he doesn't believe any of this.
Did he admit this? Or?
So in fact, in the Farsi translation, at the introduction,
Yeah.
he completely says openly that, the belief that we have today of the Imams, he has the same exact belief.
Okay.
He believes, and he considers himself as a defender of the wilayah of the Ahlul Bayt. He said, I spent my whole life defending the Ahlul Bayt.
Okay.
So his belief is probably the same as what you and I have.
Okay.
But he says that what I was trying to do was to write this for a Western academic audience and try and portray a view of Shi'i history and theology that could be acceptable to
Yeah.
people in Western universities. So he is like, I wanted to only portray a version of Shi'i history and theology that a secular person in a Western academic university can be acceptable to them and that they can interact with Shi'i theology and history.
Yeah.
So he says, look, that's all my idea was in the book. My book was not to say that this is a book of Shi'i theology and I believe in all this. No, I'm just trying to present something that they can accept. And he's mentioned this a couple of times. Rasul Jafrian, he's mentioned it to him like twice in that book. And then I mentioned last year there was a new book written in response to Modarressi. Again, that book also, there was a foreword by Ayatollah Milani. Rasul Jafrian sent it to Hossein Modarressi. Again, in response, he repeated the same thing, that look, I did not write this book as a book of theology. This is just something I wrote to present to Western academia. It was for them and them alone.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in one of his letters, he says like, He's like, I didn't even read many of these responses. He said I had some eye issues, so I didn't read them. But he's like, I don't understand. Why are they like writing so many responses to this book? Have they not forgotten the famous saying that says, Al-batilu yamutu bitarki dhikrihi? Says, have people forgotten that falsehood will die on its own, a natural death, if you stop talking about it? So he says his book is batil. Like he says, like, I don't believe it.